G'day guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you enjoyed today's episode, and with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the Barbie. Let's just get right into it. Cheers. Posted by user Donate Hair Throwaway, titled, Am I the asshole for refusing to donate my hair to my aunt with cancer? For context, I'm adopted and have super long and very thick red hair. No one in my adopted family has hair like mine, and it's been kind of a thing for them to touch, admire, and talk about my hair at family gatherings since I was a kid. My aunt has lung cancer, and it's really taken a toll on her. She's lost all of her hair and has talked about getting a wig, but they're too expensive, and she says she wants real hair. My mum suggested that I donate my hair to make a wig for my aunt at Easter dinner, and my aunt got so excited that she started crying. I feel horrible about it, and didn't say anything. We went to this wig place, and the lady said that she could make a shoulder-length wig for my aunt using my hair. I keep it up extremely well, and it's down to my knees. My aunt started crying again, and again I feel so awful. But I really don't want to part with my hair. I know it grows back, but still. No one had asked me how I felt, but I think my mum could tell that I wasn't very excited about it because she asked the lady if she could donate her own hair, and she said she'd need both my sister, my mum's biological daughter, and my mum to donate their hair since it's very thin, and she could only make a chin-length wig with it. My aunt also wants red hair, so the lady said that she'd have to dye it, and that would cause it damage and cost more than using my hair. My uncle then said that it'd make much more sense to use mine. It's been a month, and my aunt wants to know when we can make the appointment. I don't know what to do. I told my sister, and she called me ungrateful and told me to stop being selfish because it would grow back. If I'm the asshole, I won't hesitate to donate it, but I don't know anymore. And edits, people suggested that I clarify, I have knee-length hair, and I'd have to cut all of it off to the scalp in order to make the wig. To all the people saying it doesn't take that much hair to make a wig, it does. One average donation of hair doesn't make a full wig. They match it with the other donations. It usually takes 2 to 3 heads of hair for a full wig. Mine is long enough on its own for a full wig, and my aunt doesn't want synthetic hair mixed in to supplement it. I completely understand everyone that said that I was the asshole for not saying no in the beginning. I'm not trying to justify that, but I want to make it clear that it's extremely difficult for me to stand up to my family. I don't think that I've ever had a say in anything since I started living with them, and that's how it's always been. They never give me a voice, even though I should have spoken up. It always goes without saying that what my mum says will happen. In the comments, not the asshole, but you have to stop stringing your aunt along. Tell them that you are feeling pressured and it's making you uncomfortable and you aren't going to donate your hair. It was completely inappropriate for your mum to donate your hair for you in the presence of your aunt. OP says, I do really want to tell her no and not get her hopes up anymore. It's just that she got so excited the moment that my mum suggested it. I can't figure out how to tell her, and I'm afraid that I'm in the wrong, so I haven't told her anything. Ideally, you can tell your mum how her public suggestion made you feel, and have her apologize to the aunt for not consulting you and for pressuring you. If she won't do that, you'll have to tell the aunt, and people might think of you as an asshole. But that's just them being unreasonable. Be calm and respectful so that they don't have a legitimate reason to think ill of you. Not the asshole. It is super presumptuous and wrong for your family to just volunteer you for this without discussing it with you first. But it does sound like you've been going along with it and have kind of committed to it at this point. It would have been better if you had said right off the bat that you weren't sure that you wanted to do this and that you'd have to think about it. They are going to see you as an asshole if you back out now, but it's still your choice because it's your hair. If they want her to get a wig, could everyone contribute financially towards buying her one? I don't see why this needs to be all on you. I'd imagine making a wig from someone's hair costs more than just buying one. Not the asshole. And this is speaking as someone who has grown his hair out twice to donate. This is your hair, your body, and your choice. If you've kept it this long and maintained it that well, you clearly care about it a lot. It's not on you to cut your hair for anyone else for any reason. It is extremely entitled and selfish of them to just assume that you would be okay with this exchange, since you aren't even getting anything out of it as far as I can see. Just because someone has cancer, or anything like it, does not mean that they're entitled to take away your autonomy over your own damned body. If anyone says otherwise, ask them why her having cancer entitles her to make decisions for your body. Keep asking it until they understand that it's not okay to do this, it has never been okay to do this, and it never will be. Beyond that, synthetic wigs are extremely affordable as they require less upkeep and care. Human hair wigs need more attention because they're made of human hair, and often cost much less. In fact, a quick Amazon search tells me that you can find red-haired synthetic wigs for the low prices of $20 to $60 USD, shipping not accounted for. And that's just looking on the surface. Not the asshole. Jesus Christ, I can feel your stress through the screen. And OP says, honestly, I don't know what to do at all. It's kind of terrifying. I know it sounds stupid, but my hair is the only thing that I have that I feel is connected with my birth family. I love my family, but I have a weird thing with my hair. I know it grows back though, so that's something. I also have natural red hair. It is extremely long, maybe not quite as much as yours, and I honestly started sweating just thinking about this. I get that it's a very selfless thing to do, but there are decent quality synthetic wigs that put no one in an awkward situation. I consider my hair to be a vital part of my identity. It ties me to my gran, as I have inherited the color from her. If anyone asks about me, their comment is always, "Oh, the girl with the long red hair." I think because so few people naturally have red hair, they don't realize how important it becomes to your own identity, and not gonna lie, folks are seriously weird about red hair. Not the asshole, I understand you completely. OP says, thank you so much for that comment. On how old OP is, I turned 17 a few weeks ago. I was adopted when I was 7, and I don't really know why my parents gave me up or anything about them. So there's no contact until I turn 18. I am really grateful to my mother for adopting me and taking care of me, but I feel so awful about this situation. Yeah, this is a tough one, but at the end of the day, I'm all for bodily autonomy and you making your own decisions. It doesn't matter to me that the aunt is dying of cancer. I think that OP should not have been put in this situation. I think that OP should be given the choice as to whether they keep their hair or not, and not be pressured into it. If the mum always says something and always gets her way, then I see her making a few bad decisions after OP turns 18, and OP not wanting to have contact with them ever again. Or just, when they go to a funeral home, they'll be pretty lonely without OP there to visit them. It's obviously not healthy and not cool for her to continue to do this to you, OP, so, you know, unless she sees the error of her ways and doesn't attack you for not donating your hair, I potentially don't see a future for you guys together. If and when your spine grows to full maturity, obviously you're 17, you haven't had much world experience, we can all respect that, but you will, through experiences like this, grow to stand up for yourself. Hopefully. And now, on to the update. Thanks to everyone who commented, and especially those who offered to help with sending me their wigs. I talked to my mum about it and she said, we could have bought hair from anyone. This is special to your aunt because it's your hair. So, I decided to just go ahead and do it. After reading all of the You're the Asshole comments, I felt even more like garbage than I did before, and I knew I'd feel awful if I didn't. We went to the salon yesterday. I cried. I have a really gross hipster crew cut now. My aunt was so happy. They told her that it wouldn't be ready for a few months, so she bought a blonde wig. She told us she's going to alternate between the blonde wig and my wig to match her outfits. I don't even care if this sounds selfish anymore because I did what they wanted. I hate not having my hair. I look like a boy now. I hope the happiness that wig brought my aunt helps get her through her cancer, but it won't because she's going to keep smoking if she survives this anyways. I don't know how I feel about anything, but I miss my hair. My mum is really happy though, and so is my aunt, so hopefully I'll just get over my hair. I don't know. In the comments, Serious Gyro says, oh gosh, what a trashy family for just bulldozing ahead, assuming that she's totally fine with it. Though as effed up as it is, part of me thinks this will probably end up being the best, quote-unquote, outcome for OP. There was no winning in her shoes. If she didn't do it, she'd get a mountain of grief, get called heartless and cruel, it'd always be a thing, even if it's extremely unfair. Damned either way. They didn't assume that she'd be totally fine with it as such. They just assumed that she wasn't entitled to have an opinion about it. I hope that once she gets a glimmer of a chance, she starts lording this over everyone. Don't let them ever say that she didn't do anything. She donated knee-length hair and had that mortifying haircut for ages. I'm trying to grow out my pixie right now, and it's a drag. I can't imagine going through the awkward phase if I never liked it short in the first place, much less the emotional context of her donation. And it's going to take forever for her to grow it back out. I, of my own choice and volition, cut my hair short when my oldest was a baby, kept it short for a couple of years, and then got a really cute pixie cut a few weeks before my youngest was due. I grew it back out from there, and it took 8 years to reach my tailbone again. If it was to the backs of her knees and curly, that child is going to be 30 before she has her hair back. And for lung cancer for someone who smokes and won't quit. Aunt who says wigs are too expensive can suddenly afford a blonde one to tide her over until the red one is made? These people are so selfish. Poor kid. It was the only thing that was hers. I bet they guilt her about being adopted and all they've done for her. It's probably not even about the wig. It's about envy and wanting to have the prettiest hair in the family. That actually felt like a punch in the face for me personally. The fact that she has no problem wearing a blonde wig, that she's going to alternate with that wig to match outfits, I want the worst for her now. The fact that it's just an interchangeable fashion statement instead of, treating it with the depth of meaning that it has for OP. Swapping in and out blonde and red wigs to match your outfits. I hate you, you're a piece of shit. And the fact that she's still gonna keep smoking if she survives lung cancer. I would not be donating this. I understand how OP feels now, and it's going to be lorded over you if you don't do it. I expect OP to lord this over them forever, and make as big of a deal out of it as you can at every opportunity. That's what you get out of this. You get a get-out-of-jail-free card for the rest of your life to use against these people, and I would hope that you do. It's so obvious they don't care about you at all. And, if it led to them being like, get over it, it's just some hair, and they start attacking you for that, that's a bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card for me to go no contact with them over this. Although, they'll still hold that against you. They'll still say it was a petty reason. There is no winning with people like this. I hate them, not the arsehole OP. Our next post is by user JazzLikeOriginal358, titled, Am I the arsehole here for telling my stepdaughter that she is welcome to go live with her mother full-time because I won't get rid of my Harry Potter-themed bookcase? So I'm having a bit of a family drama and really need a reality check about if I'm being unreasonable here. I really need the perspective of LGBT+ sensitive individuals because the drama surrounds transphobia perpetrated by J.K. Rowling. My stepdaughter is going through a pretty tough time. The last couple of years have been really rough on her. She's been dealing with bullying at school, being held back a year, not getting along with her mum's new husband, self-harm, and identity issues. Lots of questioning her sexuality and gender. We've been working on getting her a good mental health team of doctors and therapists to help her navigate all of this. Please know that we aren't throwing her to the wolves or the internet to deal with it all herself. I've been in her life since she was 7. We've always had a pretty good, though not terribly close, relationship. I have not taken on a parental role, but have always tried to make myself available for her. Until last year, her mum had primary custody and her dad had weekends with alternating holidays. Last year, due to the issues with her school and mum's house, my stepdaughter requested that custody arrangements be changed. Since she came to live with my husband and I full-time, there has been quite a bit of friction between the two of us. One of the biggest points of contention is my Harry Potter fandom, particularly the bookcase, and my supposed transphobia due to apparently my wrong stance when it comes to the politics regarding trans issues in our country. I grew up in the heyday. So many of my childhood and teen memories are tied to the franchise. My friends and I were all really into it. We attended midnight book releases, dressed up in costume for movie releases, threw Harry Potter-themed parties when we wanted to hang out, etc. In many ways, it shaped the course of my entire life. Those same friends and I joined our high school's botany club because of herbology. That unlocked a lifelong passion of mine, and my career is now working with plants. Over the years, I've collected quite a bit of memorabilia, many of which are gifts, and they've always been displayed on my most prized possession, a monstrously large custom bookcase that my grandfather, a former woodworker, built for me when I was a teenager. I love this thing. The shelves are live-edge black walnut slabs. All around the casing, my grandpa carved beautiful Harry Potter-themed imagery. Owls, cauldrons, shooting stars, lightning bolts, an adorable little rat at the bottom, and nibble marks from said rat, etc. It is both sentimental and valuable. The slabs of walnut for the shelves alone would be pushing $1,000, let alone attempting to value the hand-carved craftsmanship. The bookcase has always been proudly displayed in my home. It currently lives in our living room. During one of our family therapy sessions, my stepdaughter expressed that seeing my Harry Potter bookshelf made her feel really uncomfortable because of the author, and that she was really disappointed in me and my father for being so supportive of a bigot. I apologized for making her feel uncomfortable in her own home and said that I would take down the Harry Potter stuff. So I packed up all of the Harry Potter-themed merch off the shelves, made sure that I didn't have the books or anything on display that said Harry Potter anywhere. I bought some LED grow lights and converted the bookcase into a plant shelf to display succulents. I bought some witchy, but not overtly Harry Potter-themed pots for the little guys so they would go with the shelf. This was not an acceptable compromise for my stepdaughter and has remained a point of contention, with my stepdaughter hurling that I/we, referring to my husband, broke a promise by saying that we would get rid of the Harry Potter stuff. I tried to explain to my stepdaughter that while I do not agree with J.K. Rowling's political stance at all, the media has a special place in my heart because of my childhood association with it, and that the shelf was very important to me because it was a gift from my grandpa. But she maintains that none of that should matter because in 2024, it is nothing but a symbol of transphobia and hate. At first, my husband was supportive of me and my desire to keep my bookcase, but lately the arguments are wearing on him, and he asked me if I would reconsider keeping it in the living room, suggesting that we rent a storage unit to house it in. After the most recent blow-up about it, I kinda lost my temper. I didn't yell or anything, but I did very firmly tell my stepdaughter that this is my home and my bookshelf stays. If it is such a big problem for her, she can always go back to live with her mother. I knew that it was a low blow pretty much as soon as I said it. I quickly apologized, but it was out there. My stepdaughter has been on an emotional downward spiral. My husband and I have been arguing almost non-stop. I think it's mostly stress because he's at his wit's end with how to help his daughter, but he's becoming pretty mean and nasty towards me, telling me to grow up and just get rid of the effing bookcase. I know I was a dick for saying my stepdaughter could always go back to live with her mom, and I suspect that that will be the main topic at hand in our next family therapy session, but am I really being unreasonable in wanting to keep my beloved bookcase? In the comments, someone asks, can you temporarily put it in storage until she's off to college and then take it back out? That way it will be safe and everyone can take a deep breath and calm down a little. And OP says, I looked into storage units when my husband suggested it. For the size and climate/humidity control we would need it in, it would cost us approximately $7,500 to store my shelf until she goes to college. It's cost prohibitive. Why can't you just move the bookcase into the primary bedroom? OP says, it's 7 by 4 by 1 foot, made of solid wood, and we have an L-shaped staircase. The only way that it's going upstairs is if it's completely dismantled and rebuilt. I don't have the skills, knowledge, or tools to do that, and hiring out a task like that is cost prohibitive, especially because it would have to be done again when moving the bookcase back out. Not the arsehole. You need to put that bookcase in a room with locks because your husband is going to sell it or damage it. And OP says, my husband isn't an emotionally unstable monster. I don't believe he would ever do anything like that to me. I wouldn't have married him if he was that kind of person. I have absolutely zero concern about my husband doing anything to it. He isn't that kind of person. He is incredibly stressed out about all of this and has said shitty things in anger, but this isn't some TV show where he and my stepdaughter are going to have daddy and daughter bonding time with a sledgehammer. Someone else says, I think he was just frustrated and worried about his daughter. Hopefully you can talk it out with him and he will apologize for the grow up comment. OP says, that is my impression in regards to him too. I can't imagine how hard it must be to see your child suffering and not be able to fix that pain. I've been doing my best to give him grace due to the circumstances. It is something that we will address when he has the spoons to do so. One question. Who owns or rents the house that you are living in? If it's yours, you can suggest that your husband move out and get a place of his own to his daughter's liking. OP says, my husband and I purchased it together. We are both on the mortgage. We'll then figure out who stays, who goes, and how the equity, if any, is split. And OP says, I don't intend to divorce my husband and throw away a decade-plus long relationship because he said one shitty thing to me during a period of great stress for him. If he destroys the bookcase to show solidarity with your daughter, what will you do? OP says, have him pink-slipped. That is not the action of a reasonable adult. I would be very concerned for his mental state. I wonder if she made similar unreasonable demands in her mother's home or at school that led you to the conflict there. OP says, part of the issues with her home life with her mother involved my stepdaughter demanding that her mother choose between her now husband and her because mum's husband's political views. So this isn't exactly left field behavior. Your stepdaughter needs a massive reality check and probably different therapists. OP says, oof. We're on our 5th. And more on therapy, she meets with a psychiatrist as well as her therapists. We are in family counseling already. Couples counseling is likely to happen if there isn't a resolution to this current bookcase issue in the very near future. Info needed. What is your wrong stance when it comes to trans issues? OP says, I'm kinda middle of the road when it comes to the trans political issues, and mostly take the stance of, I don't know. I have my own feelings about the issues, but as it's not my area of expertise, I am not beholden to them, and I will leave these big problems up to the people who have made learning about them their focus of study. Like, I get my feathers ruffled when medically uneducated politicians try to interfere with any kind of healthcare. Like, seriously ruffled. I believe that people facing gender identity issues should have access to free and easy healthcare and therapy to navigate those issues. I believe that society in general should strive to use preferred pronouns, if only as a matter of politeness. But when it comes to things like trans people in sports or having AFAB-only safe spaces, I see both sides of the argument and refer back to my I think this should be left up to people who focus on this and not form a super strong opinion either way based on my lay opinion. Back up to the post, there is an edit that says, thank you everyone. Honestly, thank you for those who shared their insight and advice, and thank you to the people who have asked me hard questions that made me think, especially those who asked what matters more, a bookcase or a/my child. I've been reflecting really hard on what my bookcase means to me and why it is so important. I'm hitting some deep truths that I don't think I was ready to recognize about how I really feel about my relationship with my stepdaughter. All in all, I think we just need to shelve things until our next therapy session. But I'll see myself out. And now, on to the update. Someone asked if I could update this situation, and I'll try my best to summarize the past several weeks. My husband and I spoke about the situation. He apologized for being snappish with me and agreed that stepdaughter was being unreasonable about the bookcase. He ultimately agreed to back me about it. He and I are just as tight as we have ever been. I once again apologized to my stepdaughter for the remark that I said out of frustration about her moving back with her mom. I reiterated that our home is her home too, and she is always welcome here. That even though families sometimes fight and disagree, we are family. But the general argument about Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, and my bookcase continued to escalate for a couple of weeks. And then the discontent about that started to bleed over into complaints about me. She started to be more disrespectful and sarcastic. During all of this, we were still attending our family therapy sessions. Our therapist was pretty certain that the misbehavior was anxiety-related and didn't suggest that we give in to the demands to have the bookcase removed and wanted to just keep working on the things that we all have been. Well, stepdaughter's disrespectful attitude hit a climax. She called me the C word and some other choice things within my husband's earshot. My husband kinda lost it on her. I don't think I have ever seen him that angry before. He was bright red and vein-popping angry as he marched her to her room and declared, "You will not speak to my wife in such a way." This was probably the first time my stepdaughter has ever seen her dad angry, let alone anger directed at her. It left her pretty shook. Like that was her rock bottom. We ended up needing to do a couple emergency sessions with her counselor because there was concern about her relapsing with some self-destructive issues she has been working on. But that incident led to us having a breakthrough. Her counselor invited my husband and I into one of her sessions, and she had a bit of a breakdown. Basically, she was dealing with a lot of existential dread and a lot of fear due to politics and it being an election year. That ended up being an excellent opening for us to bond. This is going to sound silly, but I was able to pull up my social media timelines back from 2016, and I showed her some of the things that I had written or had shared with me back then. She was able to see that I shared a lot of the same fears that she has. So we have all had some really big talks about things like feeling helpless when things are out of your control, about disengaging from the media machine for your own mental health, etc. Things have been on the upswing since then. Before she left for her mum's this past weekend, she even gave me a Mother's Day gift, an adorable little planter that says, "Caution, mandrakes." I love it. I put one of my favorite props in it, and it's front and center on the bookcase now. In the comments, to a downvoted commenter, quote, "Your continued support of J.K. Rowling through fandom will likely be an issue for other LGBT people in your life." And OP says, "The only other LGBT person in my life sent me Birdie Bot's every flavor beans in my Christmas package this past year." This poor girl is terrified of being kicked out from another set of abusive parents and is forcing herself to buy merchandise to support someone who wants her dead to make her step-parent happy. This update is horrifying for real. And OP says, "I hope you stretched before this reach. Stepdaughter was not kicked out of her mom's home. That was a choice that she made. She is in no danger of being kicked out of our home either." How come no one mentioned that the bookshelf itself isn't actually supporting J.K. Rowling? Most people are judgmental about buying Harry Potter stuff because it enriches her and is viewed as financially enabling her. The bookshelf was handcrafted, so no money was made by J.K. Rowling unless I missed something. Was this not explained to the stepdaughter? Did no one try to educate her on activism? The problem with that is that some people, like the stepdaughter, consider the entire IP to be contaminated. It's not about just not giving JK money to them. Well then, using that logic, nobody gets to enjoy dragons, unicorns, magic wands, flying broomsticks, etc. J.K. Rowling didn't invent most of the things in Harry Potter, she just arranged them into her story. Does that last commenter think that J.K. Rowling invented mandrakes? Because outside of the Harry Potter realm, it's still a cute gift for someone who works with plants, and the folklore around mandrakes is, really old. So is nearly everything JKR used. House elves are brownies from European folklore, goblins, European folklore, house system, UK school system, minus the talking hats, and prefects, UK school system. Issues with a kid aside, the views described at the end of the first post are not middle of the road. That's significantly more supportive of trans people than the average. I feel like she's saying she's in the middle as a peacekeeping strategy, like those folks who say they're neither pro-life nor pro-choice, and then go on to describe entirely pro-choice behavior. Anyway guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!